when I talked about the confusion, I thought that was like a legitimate question.
But come to me, don't bring it to the group. Your girls were sneaking boys in the house in DR.
Yeah.
You didn't want me to bring it to the group. And guess what? They did.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 9, Episode 9. And before we get into it, first things first, Mia, you just lost your job. And before anybody says, girl, you're reaching, why do you say that? Let me tell you something right now. Hear me and hear me clearly. That last scene between her and Gizelle, for her to bring Giselle's daughters in that, Gizelle was not only livid, but Gizelle is somebody who lives for revenge. And I can assure you, she said, oh, this woman has got to go. Mia crossed a line by trying to conflate two issues because she's mad about being called out about her situation that makes no sense and is raggedy as hell. And Gizelle, while I'm on your side, I do have to tap you on the wrist because, Miss Mamas, the North still remembers how you were Mia's biggest advocate when Mia was assaulting Wendy and then clowning and lying on Chris Bassett and being a horrible person to Candace. But now it's not so funny when she goes against you. Because had you not gassed up Mia and her bad behavior seasons ago, you wouldn't be in this boat now. But before we get into the video, a special thank you to my friends over at Manscaped, who are the sponsors of today's recap. This holiday season, give him the gift of confidence with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by Manscaped. Whether it's for your partner, brother, or a friend who could use a grooming upgrade, this all-in-one set has everything he needs to look and feel his best. From staying fresh to keeping sharp, it's the perfect way to show you care. Because every guy deserves to feel a little more polished this winter. Make his holiday one to remember with the ultimate grooming experience. Gift him the Weed Whacker 2.0 to tame those rogue hairs and the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to keep everything else in check. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is his ultimate holiday helper, taking care of everything from below-the-waist maintenance to taming those rogue nose and ear hairs. Think of it as a seasonal survival kit, keeping him clean, confident, and ready to dominate cuffing season and all the festive gatherings ahead. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Groin and Body Hair Trimmer, this is the star of his holiday grooming lineup. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra delivers precise, smooth trimming every time. It's reliable, efficient, and ready to perform, whether he's prepping for a holiday date night, an office party, or just staying fresh for family gatherings. And then we have the Weed Whacker 2.0 Ear and Nose Hair Trimmer. The last thing any guy needs during the holidays is an unexpected nose or ear hair making a surprise appearance at the dinner table. The Weed Whacker 2.0 is here to handle those details like a pro, making sure he stays neat and polished for every holiday event. And now we have the Ball Aftercare. After a close shave, he'll want to give his most precious ornaments some much-needed TLC. The Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion and Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant will keep him fresh, comfortable, and ready to slay all day. And if that wasn't enough, he'll get free gifts included. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra doesn't just stop at grooming essentials. It also comes with 2 holiday bonuses, the Boxers 2.0 Midnight Bravo and the Shed 2.0 Toiletry Bag. These premium extras make sure he's always ready to jingle and mingle, whether at home or on the go. So have him join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. Use the code BrookeAshley for 20% off plus free shipping. Trust me, you'll be drafting the real MVP of grooming this season. But y'all, I have a lot to say, so without further ado, let's just get right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up this episode right where we left it off last week with Mia saying that both of her children's fathers get along, and they're all like, wait, what? Fathers? We hear Stacey ask, wait, I thought that Gordon was your children's father, and now Mia reveals that she was married before Gordon and he's the father of her oldest child. Now, for all of us day one watchers of Potomac, when Mia joined the show in season 6, she told us that. But let the record show that I called out Mia and her tricks. I said, I'll bet you guys money that Mia is talking about her first husband and not Ink. And sure enough, I was right. But I said, Miss Mia girl, you want attention so badly. And a quick side note, a lot of you guys have mentioned how her oldest son, Joshua, is no longer on the show. We don't see him anymore. I had heard that he does not want to be filmed anymore. He doesn't like the show. So that's why he's not shown on camera anymore. And I get it. He's probably embarrassed by Mia's antics, her trying to air out this crazy storyline about his younger brother possibly being some other man's son. He probably wants no parts. So again, I get it. And again, Mia, the audacity for you to try to bring up Giselle's girls when it looks like your oldest kid is embarrassed about how you're carrying on. You need to tend to your own and not worry about Giselle and her daughters. Just a thought. But Mia goes on to say that Gordon and her ex-husband get along. And I'm like, girl, we're not talking about the ex-husband. Giselle was bringing up the Instagram video of you, Gordon, the kids, and Ink out having a family fun day by the pool. So now Karen jumps in and she's like, well, I don't know why we're attacking Mia right now. And they're like, we're not attacking her. And I said, now, Karen, you and Mia have been going at it for the last 4 or 5 episodes since Lake Norman. So now all of a sudden you're on Mia's side? And a quick side note, we had to talk about this at Wendy's birthday. I'm like, my God, I just think that it's a real slap in the face that Wendy spent all this money on her party and the party got eclipsed by this stupid drama about Mia. Can Wendy ever get the attention? Can it ever be her day? It always feels like Wendy's moments are overshadowed by somebody else. And it's aggravating. And also, let me just whack production quickly because y'all tried it. The fact that Wendy has talked about this party since episode 1, and we've only seen a total of 30 seconds of her party, that's an insult. We didn't see the spread. We didn't see them dancing. Like, Wendy, in all seriousness, you were better off having this party off camera, in my opinion. Because for them not to show it, like, I'd be pissed. So now Wendy interjects and she's like, wait, what's going on? And now Jacqueline interrupts and she's like, let me speak for a minute. I was actually there. I said, Jacqueline, please shut up. Are you not embarrassed to be Mia's sidekick? Mia can speak for herself. She's a grown-ass woman. So Jacqueline says that despite what you see on Instagram, Gordon's only okay around Ink for maybe 5 minutes, but for the rest of the day, he's miserable and he's complaining about how he doesn't want Ink there. But Wendy does jump in and she pretty much calls out Mia for putting up a facade. And I'm like, but y'all know that. Y'all know that Mia has a strange relationship with the truth. So why would you expect her to be honest about what's really going on? So now Gizelle brings up what Mia shared about Ink falling back at their GNA event. And Mia's like, well, you guys gave me that advice, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to take it. So now we cut to Mia's confessional and she says that she's just surprised because they're at Wendy's birthday party, but they're over here grilling her about what's going on in her household. And I said, now, Mia, I'm with you and you're right, because yes, the focus should be on Wendy and not you. But let's also not forget that you're also self-centered, because I'm willing to bet that even if nobody brought this up, you would have found a way to bring up your situation to the group because you want the attention that bad. So Mia's frustrated, and now Wendy jumps in and she says, look, ladies, it's been fun, but in a few minutes, I'm going to be getting a citation from the governor. So now they're like, wait, a citation? Don't you mean a proclamation? And Wendy's like, no, a citation. But everybody goes back to their tables to watch Wendy get honored. And as they're walking back, we see Mia telling off Jacqueline. She's like, girl, get the F away from me. You never have my back. I said, girl, she did have your back. That's why she jumped in and was defending you. When she said that Gordon acts like he's happy when he's actually not, he's actually miserable. that was Jacqueline's way of having your back. But Jacqueline, I hope you learned a hard lesson to stop being Mia's mouthpiece, because look where it got you. So we see Wendy being honored, and I know it's not just me, but was anybody else annoyed that while she's getting her citation, Ashley and Stacey are off to the side talking about their mediations and their divorces? Again, can we please focus on Wendy? It's stuff like that that shows me that the majority of this cast does not value Wendy. Because had this been anybody else like Karen or Gizelle, they would have sat there quietly and watched them get honored. They would not have had these side conversations. It's just rude. But anyhow, Stacey says that her mediation is on Tuesday. Ashley's mediation is on Monday, so they have big days ahead. So now Ashley goes on to ask if Stacey is going over the financials, and Stacey says, yeah, but I'm expecting my soon-to-be ex-husband to be fair. So I said, Stacey, what? Stacey, you're too grown to be so naive. And Stacey going on to say how successful her soon-to-be ex-husband is and how he's from a prominent family in Germany. I said, girl, that's great and all, but remember, you guys are going through a divorce. So this man, despite him being so successful, most likely he's going to try to lowball you in this divorce. So again, you need to wake up and stop being so naive. So it's clear that Ashley is visibly concerned because what Stacey is saying is a bit alarming. So she walks over to Karen and Gizelle and she says, hey y'all, I just spoke to Stacey about her mediation that's coming up, and because you guys gave me great advice about my pending divorce, I want y'all to give her the same game. So we see Ashley, Gizelle, Karen, and Stacey go inside to have a chat. And while I appreciate seeing women help each other out with good advice, especially pertaining to divorce and how to get the bag, we couldn't have had this conversation before Wendy's birthday. We have to have this now. And in all fairness, Stacey has had ample time to figure this out. She should not be just getting it together now, 3 days before mediation, in my opinion. So we cut to Gizelle in her confessional, and she says one thing about it: when she was married, she knew where the money was. And then she says that when she walked into her divorce, she wasn't walking in blind, because these men will try to leave you with nothing. It really blows me when I hear these stories about how these men really want their ex-wives to be penniless, especially when that's the mother of your children. You don't want your ex-wife and your kids to eat? Like, I honestly feel like there is a special place in hell for men who are deadbeats, because I don't understand. This woman bore your children and you want to see her with nothing? That makes sense to you in your pea brain? So Stacey explains everything about how she's going into mediation in a few days and she's optimistic. Then she goes on to say that when her and her husband got together 20 years ago, they always said that if they ever divorced, it would be amicable. They would not be fighting over money and assets. So now Gizelle says, girl, let me stop you right there, because that's what everybody says when they're in love. Nobody goes into a marriage thinking that they're going to get divorced. And Stacey sounded so delusional when she said, well, I know the man that I married. And I said, girl, what? So Gizelle says, yes, you know him now, but you don't know him in this way through a divorce. So now Karen jumps in and says, well, how well do you know him? Because you told us that the reason for your divorce is because you guys grew apart. So you honestly don't know him as well as you claim. And I said, please get her again, because Stacey, you need to wake up. Playtime is over. This could low-key make or break you. You could walk away with everything, or you could walk away with nothing. So now Karen gives her a suggestion. She says, and by the way, I would not flaunt my new love around him, because that's going to make your ex want to fight even more. And then she says, girl, take my advice and hide. Now, let me just say this. When it comes to Stacey and TJ, I don't think anybody believes that they're together. So if Stacey does bring TJ around her ex-husband, I'm pretty sure that her ex-husband does not believe for a second that they're actually together. I think that Stacey is safe bringing TJ around. She could always frame it as one of her friends, a cousin. I'm just saying, I don't think that Stacey needs to worry about somebody being jealous over TJ. And does anybody remember how I think it was 2 recaps ago where I stated that TJ is most likely using Stacey for a come up and some money? Because when they flip to TJ at the table, he's talking to Ray about how the QVC hosts, you get these huge bonuses every year. I think he said that they get $56,000 as a bonus. And for him to be so excited about that, I say, yeah, I think this man is using Stacey for a come up, connections, and a job. Because remember, Stacey said that they met because he was auditioning to be a QVC host. I don't believe that this relationship is genuine, especially not on TJ's part. He's not into her sexually, that's clear. Him always talking about he wants to go work out and go to the zoo for their dates is giving broke and he needs a job. So I would not be surprised if he's with her solely for the attention that this show brings and to boost his acting career and hopefully get him the job on QVC. But I'm not buying that this is an actual romantic relationship. I think that TJ is a user. And the way he spoke to her in that last episode, talk about get up off me and don't touch me and get it together, man. Absolutely not. But we flip right back over to the 4 of them talking about Stacey's divorce. And Gizelle says, look, Stacey, you need to write down on a piece of paper everything that you want for you and your daughter. So Stacey's blowing her off and she says, well, I just feel like we're both amicable and it's going to be just fine. And I said, Stacey, can you get your head out of your ass for 2 seconds and just listen? That's sound advice. I don't understand people who are too proud to hear reasoning and logic, especially when somebody has already been there, done that, and they got the results that you actually want. And just because your ex-husband has been cordial to you and you guys have been able to keep the peace, that does not mean that this man won't try to cheat you out of money that you deserve. What's not clicking? And then when you said, well, our situation is different, I said, girl, everybody says that. Everybody thinks that they're the exception. How many women have you heard, oh no, he never do me like that, and then he does? But I said, Stacey, you can do what you want to do. It's your life. But nobody wants to hear you crying and upset if this man cheats you out of a divorce settlement. If you end up getting pennies on the dollar, it will be your own fault because you had women in this group who have been there, done that, got the t-shirt and divorce settlement to show for it, and you did not want to hear them out. That's going to be on you. So they're finished talking about all this and they go back outside. And did anybody catch how Ashley said, let's go back out and take some shots because it's still my birthday? I said, girl, you can't make this day about you. If you were going to be this pressed about Wendy having her party on your actual birthday, you should not have come. I know for me, on my day, I don't want to share the spotlight with anybody else. So I would have taken the L and I would not have filmed this scene because I would have wanted to spend my birthday doing what I wanted to do. If you decide to go to somebody else's birthday party and it happens to be your birthday as well, you give up the right to bring up how it's also your birthday. That was just so rude to me. I didn't like that. I say, again, girl, it's not about you. It's Wendy's day. She paid for this party. But as the party's winding down, we see Wendy, Eddie, and Eddie's brothers and sisters. They're all at a table talking, and Wendy's introducing her kids to Eddie's siblings, their aunts and uncles. I think that it's sad that it took 13 years for Eddie's siblings to come around. That's crazy to me. And when one of the sisters hugged Wendy and they both started crying, I said, why are you crying when you're the one who was not speaking to Wendy and your brother for over a decade? You should be saying sorry. Now, I'm not going to hold you guys. This short scene with Gizelle and her oldest daughter, Grace, it was a cute scene, but not a whole lot happened. They're out getting some infused ice cream, and one of y'all had me screaming on Bluesky because the woman asked for Giselle's ID, and y'all were like, girl, stop playing. You know Gizelle slipped that woman $5 to have her ask for her ID because Gizelle knows that everybody knows how old she is. Giselle's saving grace is definitely her daughters, because all throughout the years, even when she would work my last good nerve with how she treated Wendy and Candace, I would always be like, that's the one good thing about her. She's a great mom, and I always enjoy when she's with her girls. Now we jump to a short scene with Ashley at home. She's getting her boys ready for camp, and then after that, she's on her way to mediation. Now, we're going to skip past this scene because I don't care. This divorce has gone on way too long. I don't have anything to say. And I really do believe that this is going to be Ashley's last season because she's not giving us anything. Now, I do want to mention one thing. Ashley saying that she has her boys, I think, 5 days out the week, but then Michael gets them on the weekends. And she says that after the divorce is finalized, their custody agreement could change and he could have them more days out the week and she wouldn't see them that much. It's no shade, but I highly doubt that that's going to happen. Let's not forget, Ashley was Michael's second marriage, second wife. He was already in his late 50s when they got together. He was not trying to be a father to newborns and toddlers at his big age. He was hoping that they would continue with the threesomes and having a good time, being out and about, and no kids. So now that he's about to be a free man, I really doubt that he's trying to be this hands-on dad and have them for half of the time. I think he's okay with only seeing them for 2 days out the week because that means that he has more time to do what he wants to do. Just in my humble opinion. But I said, Ashley, I don't think that you have to worry about that. So now we see a short scene with Keiarna, and I love Keiarna down, but this scene didn't do a whole lot for me either. She's at her man Greg's office, and remember, he's a licensed social worker, and she's helping him / working for him for free. And Keiarna, you don't need to be working for your boyfriend for free. He needs to hire other people. And I don't see this whole dynamic working out too well, but just my humble opinion. But girl, if he wants more people, he needs to hire more people or pay you. I would not be working or helping out a man for free. But we see Keiarna go into Greg's office and she brings him up to speed about her lawsuit. We all know what happened last season, the finale episode. Deborah went upside her head like the weirdo that she is and gave Keiarna that scar. So Keiarna says that she spoke with her attorney, the lawsuit's going in the right direction, and she filed a personal injury lawsuit against Deborah for her scar, and rightfully so. I think she sued Deborah for $3 million or $10 million, whatever she sued her for. I hope she gets every penny, although I doubt Deborah even has $5 in her account. But either way, Deborah deserves this lawsuit because she had no right putting her hands on anybody. But we learned from Keiarna that the altercation did put a wedge between her and Greg. He was a bit nervous about her being around these women after what happened. And she says that she was crying all the time. She was in therapy. And anybody would be. That's traumatic. You're on national TV at somebody's event and you have some crazed weirdo going upside your head because they want attention. I'd be traumatized as well. Deborah needs to be thankful that she's not in jail. So now we jump on over to Gizelle, Stacey, Karen, Wendy, and Ashley meeting up at a rooftop for some lunch and some girl talk. Pretty much, they all want to know the tea about Stacey and Ashley's mediation sessions. So anyhow, they order some drinks. Giselle's ordering a charcuterie board. And was it just me, but when that charcuterie board came out, it was a bit light. I said, that's it? I counted 1 grape, 2 crackers, and it looked like 1 slice of cheese. So Stacey, here's where I have to whack you because Miss Mamas, what are we doing? Stacey starts off the conversation by saying that she had her first mediation session and she listened to what they had to say. But before she tells them what happened, she brings up how her and her husband had a very traditional marriage and she had not seen a bill in the last 15 years. So because of that, he had full control of the finances. And she found out at this mediation session that there were accounts that she had no idea about. And on top of that, there was stuff that was in her name. I said, Stacey, you need to call up Sutton Strack right now. Hire a forensic accountant right now. Immediately. And y'all know me, I'm all for getting with somebody who provides. We love to see it, but you need to be smart. It's one thing to not pay a bill or see a bill, but you should still know where the money's going just in case something happens. Even if you don't get a divorce, if this man dies, you're going to be up Schitt's Creek not knowing who to pay, not knowing what to pay. Like, you need to know this as a woman. And that's not a good thing that Stacey was in the dark for all that time. So now Wendy jumps in and she says, well, I feel you on that because I don't know who my mortgage company is. I never paid the mortgage. I don't pay a bill either. I couldn't even tell you about our light company. Now, Wendy, I love you down. But I gotta call cap on that only because I believe that Eddie takes care of the bills, but I just don't believe that somebody as intelligent as you are is just completely unaware. Stacey gives me ditzy, naive. She's not aware of anything. But Wendy says that hearing all this, now it makes her want to check and see what the bills are so that she's not in the dark. Stacey's saying that transitioning into a single mom, she needs to be smarter. And I said, girl, you think? I mean, that's not rocket science. You need to get it together. You have yourself and your daughter to feed and clothe and send to school. You need to be on top of this. This is way too important to take lightly. I think that every single housewife who goes through a divorce, they need to call up Sutton from Beverly Hills because Sutton knows what she's doing. That woman receives $3.6 million a year in alimony alone, plus child support, plus several businesses, plus investment accounts, plus several homes.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
Call her up because she had all her ducks in a row. And she's living well. And these other women on the other franchises and on her cast are playing around. So now Ashley brings up her mediation and how it took all day. I think she said they were in there for 9 hours. So they're like, oh, did you make eye contact with him? And she says, no, I didn't look at him at all. I only talked to the lawyers. So we learned that they settled their custody agreements. Michael's going to have the kids for 10 days out the month, but they were unable to reach a final agreement. So she goes on to say that it came down to Michael wanting to put this confidentiality clause where she can't say his name, disparage him in any way on the show ever again. And she's like, look, this show is my bread and butter, so that's not going to work. So Ashley says that since there's no other mediation happening, she now has to file a public complaint since they were unable to reach an agreement. Karen had me screaming. She said, good for you, Ashley. He wants your silence, and that's called alimony. So girl, get paid. I said, I know that's right. Now remember, in the original settlement, when she first filed in season, 6 or 7, Ashley said that she would not be receiving alimony, no settlement. Pretty much, she'd be screwed. If Michael wanted to buy my silence, I would have him give me 50 grand a month. And I will gladly not speak about you. I won't even say your name on the show. But Ashley says that even though he's the father of her kids, it needs to be fair. And listen, I don't see it for Ashley, but I agree. And the fact that she had to be with that man for so many years, she had that man on top of her night after night after night, put up with his cheating. She deserves to be compensated for her pain and suffering. Karen and Raven having lunch together, that was a cute mother-daughter scene, but not too much happened, so we can jump right past it. So I was going to skip this scene too, but Miss Mia, you tried it. We see Mia at this studio. It's a cute boutique, and she's treating Jacqueline to a shopping spree. Mia talking about Jacqueline is a country girl. She grew up on a farm and she's not a fashionista. So today she wants to help her out and pick better clothes. I said, Mia, you're not a fashionista either. You're tacky. You don't know how to dress. Everybody on this cast, except for Karen and Wendy, all look dated. And why did one of y'all say that Jacqueline's bob, that's the bob that Nene was talking about in season 7 when they went to Puerto Rico with Claudia when they read each other down? And she said her bob was completely folded under. That's what Jacqueline's bob looked like. I was on the floor. I said, you guys are too much. But Jacqueline's trying out all these outfits that were a flop for me. And now they sit down, have some champagne, and they're talking about their relationships. So Mia's asking her about her and Mr. PP. That's Jacqueline's baby's father / on again, off again boyfriend of 13 years. So Mia's like, so what's going on with that? And Jacqueline says, well, so far so good, but we've had a lot of hurt in our relationship, but we're focusing on the friendship now because we want to get things right this time around. I said, girl, this time around, it's already been over a decade. You know it's a sad day when I'm siding with Mia, because Mia was like, girl, it's been 13 years, like, let's get it together. And I was like, exactly. I still go back to Karen reading Jacqueline down 5 episodes ago when they were in Lake Norman, and Karen said, oh, please, Patrick talks to you? Jacqueline was a bit hurt by that because she says, well, let's not, because Ink's been around for a long time too. And Mia says, yeah, that's true, but it wasn't until recently where we both decided to be together. And I said, Mia, what are you saying? You told us that you and Ink had been dating since high school. You guys were high school sweethearts. And according to Gordon in his timeline, you guys were still messing with each other when you were married to Gordon. So you guys have also been on again, off again, just like Jacqueline has been with her baby's father. I guess it's different because you were married to somebody else, but if you ask me, you've also been dabbling on and off with Ink as well. So Jacqueline says, honestly, Mia, you need to iron stuff out between you and Gordon first. And Mia says, I agree, but it's hard dealing with somebody who's on different pages every day. What we're not about to do is continue to drag Gordon and his bipolar disorder into this every chance you get. And it feels like it's a cheap attempt to try and gain sympathy and paint Gordon out to be the villain. I'm sure there have been times where he's been manic, but for the most part, I do feel like you're gaslighting this man, and that's why he's angry. So now Mia brings up how she's angry at Gizelle because she felt really pissed when Gizelle brought up all this mess at Wendy's party. She felt like Gizelle was wrong to bring it up in that setting, and then she says every time she's around Cruella DeVille, it feels like Giselle's always criticizing her. And then she goes on to say that it's very disheartening. And I said, no, hold on, because it was all fun and games when Gizelle was on your side. When you were sitting up there assaulting Wendy and going off on Candace, trying to embarrass her, when you lied on Chris Bassett, saying that Chris Bassett wanted you and he touched you and this, that, and the third, that was all fine. Because Gizelle was laughing and she loved it. But now that Gizelle is questioning you and she's on your ass, now she's Cruella DeVille, now she's evil, now you can't stand her? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You knew Gizelle was messy. Don't act surprised now. I don't have any sympathy for you, Mia, and I'm happy that Giselle's on your ass because this storyline is disgusting. It's shameful. You are sitting up here exploiting your children for $1. And Gizelle is telling you that this makes no sense and you have too much going on and your kids don't need to see this. So now you have Jacqueline talking about, you know what Giselle's problem is? She doesn't have one man and you have 3 or 4 men. That's why she's mad. And I said, now Jacqueline, what do you have? I'll wait. At your big age with an on again, off again boyfriend / baby's father, that's not a prize. You barely have a piece of a man talking about Gizelle. I'd rather be single than be in your situation. So girl, not too much. And also sis, you're doing a bit too much for somebody who's only getting paid the day rate and a free gas card. So quiet down. So now we get to the last scene of the episode and we see Ashley at a charity event where she's going to be going down the side of a building to raise money for homelessness. So she goes on to say that everybody has to raise $1,000, and she also invited all of her friends. So we see everybody show up. We see Stacey and her daughter Arabella, Gizelle and Karen arrive, Mia, and now we see Wendy and her kids arrive. But of course, Mia has to be extra, and she's like, oh, Gizelle, I'm gonna talk to you later, but I'm gonna hug you right now. So Giselle's confused and she's like, wait, what did I do now? And Mia's like, we'll talk later. And I said, Mia, girl, shut up. So Gizelle had me screaming. She's in her confessional saying, I'm confused about Gordon and Mr. Elf on the shelf, but you have all that energy for me. So we see their kids off to the side playing. And at one point, it was so adorable because Arabella was holding Cam's hand, and Cam is Wendy's daughter. I was like, that is so cute. It was like a big sister, little sister moment. I said, I love to see it. Like, girl, when I tell you my ovaries were jumping. But the event starts and we see Ashley going down the side of a building. I'm not going to hold you guys. I get nervous really easily about certain things like that. And at one point, it seemed like she was sliding down. I was like, girl, just take your time. Karen took me out. When she got on that ground and started praying, I said, Karen, girl. She said, I don't understand why Ashley wants to do this, but okay. I'm going to pray to our Lord and Savior that she's okay. And while Karen was praying, you have Mia talking about, oh, Karen, I didn't know that you still got down on your knees. And then Giselle's like, oh yeah, I thought that you were tired from all that. So Karen says, I did, but that was for the Lord. So Ashley's on the ground. They're all congratulating her. She did it. So now we see Mia and Gizelle off to the side. And Mia says, look, Gizelle, I want to talk to you quickly. I've always said that if I'm mad at you, I want to go directly to you and just tell you, get it off of my chest. So Giselle's like, girl, I get it. Just tell me, what did I do? So Mia says, at your G&A event last week, I shared with you some very sensitive things, but at Wendy's party the other day, you were questioning me about why I posted that on social media and I didn't like that. So I'm like, Mia, you can't be mad at people questioning you when every single time you're around them, you're always bringing this up. That's not fair. You can't have it both ways. You shove this drama down everybody's throats and now you're mad when somebody asks you about it. Gizelle did nothing wrong asking you like, hey girl, what's going on? Because you were crying to us last week about Gordon bringing up your abortion and all that. But now I see you on Instagram as a big happy family. Like, what's tea? So now Mia brings up Giselle's social media and how she portrays herself as this upstanding mother and this perfect woman who has perfect daughters. And Gizelle says, no, I don't. And my kids are not perfect. I know that. So mind you, Karen and Wendy join them and sit down. And now Mia blurts out about how Giselle's daughters were sneaking boys in when they were on their DR trip last year. So Giselle's like, wait, what? My girls didn't do that in the DR? What are you saying? So now Mia turns to Wendy and she says, when we were in the Dominican Republic, her girls were sneaking in boys while we were away. So Gizelle says, oh yeah, I caught a boy on the Ring camera. I mean, girl, like, it is what it is. And Mia says, exactly. And I didn't say anything. I don't run and tell your business. And you act like everything is perfect. Now, let's not do that. First of all, Mia, you are volunteering your business to everybody. You bring this up 24/7. For you to try to conflate Giselle's daughter inviting a boy back to the home and her not sharing that with the group, that's apples and oranges. What does that have to do with anything? You sound ridiculous. I had secondhand embarrassment watching you grasp at straws, trying to get Gizelle on something that, quite frankly, nobody's judging her on. Teenage girls want to talk to boys. That's normal. Nobody's judging Gizelle on that whatsoever. Nobody's judging her daughters either. For you to try to low-key, in my opinion, it felt like you were trying to slut shame the girls, or I did not like the undertones of this conversation. You're trying to shame 16 and 17-year-old girls. You're a grown-ass woman out here in this crazy love triangle on national TV discussing the possible paternity of one of your children. That's raggedy as hell. And also, girl, not too much. Because had Gizelle told you, and I'm sure you were doing much worse when you were my daughter's age, you would have been upset. Mia is such an easy read, and I don't understand why people don't really get her together. How dare you? If Gizelle had cursed you out in that moment or slapped you, it would have been well deserved. Why are we bringing up what her daughters were doing last year? Who cares? And you're trying to embarrass her as a parent? At the end of the day, Gizelle's a great mom. The same, I don't know if that could be said about you, girl, because what you're doing right now is shameful and it's not giving good mother. Gizelle's daughters bringing a boy to the house, everybody for the most part has done that. That's not anything new. That's not anything salacious or shameful. And you're trying to shame the daughters and Gizelle for that. And then when you said, oh, well, you're acting like they're perfect and that you're perfect, like that does not take away from her being a good mother. I was so mad. I said, oh my gosh. I said, but on the other hand, Gizelle, this is what happens when you encourage bad behavior, because now she's turning on you, trying to air you out. It was all cool when she did it to Candace and Wendy. But now when it's done to you, now you're upset. I'm just saying, the tables always turn. I really wish that you had stood behind Wendy when she was assaulted, because had you done that, Mia probably would have been fired off the show. And Mia, that was nasty for you to say. I mean, in the past, you've always said that they're upstanding girls. So because they sneak a boy into the house, they're no longer upstanding girls? What are we talking about here? Again, it felt like a level of slut shaming, and I'm not here for it. I don't like hearing people talk about, oh, these girls are fast or loose. No, they're normal girls. They want to be with boys. That's normal. Like, let's not do that. How dare you? Karen was too much. She said, obviously this pimp village that Mia's trying to manage has gone to her head because kids are off limits. So now we cut to Mia's confessional, and she says that obviously Gizelle's going through it, being an empty nester, but motherhood is hard. It always evolves and changes. And who is Gizelle to question her about anything? So we close out the episode with Gizelle and her confessional, and she says that she's taking this all in, and once she does, she's about to react. And that's where it ends. Mia, be clear, you're about to be on that unemployment line real soon, just so you know, you tried it. Gizelle is about to see to it that you were off of this show. To bring up her daughters for no reason at all. You really need help. Like, Mia, it is time for you to go and see the lady. And I've said that before, but it is time. There is something not right. And I'm sure it stems from your childhood and the trauma that you faced, but you don't need to be on TV. We don't need to see this. We're tired. But y'all, we can place bets because, mark my words, Gizelle is making her calls right now that this woman is off this show. Between that crazy storyline that is just so love and hip hop, very much Jerry Springer Maury, and then bringing up her daughters to try and shame her as a mom and her daughters, that's not going to fly with Gizelle. I'm going to tell you that. Be clear. Mia, you sealed your fate. Season 9 will probably be your last season. I hope it was worth it. But y'all, that was my recap. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for listening on the podcast. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.